Hello, it's me. I'm back. Hello, and welcome to episode 21 of Country Bumpkin Creates. It's been a while. I feel like I'm in confession, dear father, all that. I just haven't had my act together, and days when I felt, I'll record today, just didn't happen. And then other days when I had the time, just didn't have the right headspace. So it's been a while, but I'm here now. So hello. Welcome to any new viewers. There have been a few of you since the last episode, I feel. So thank you for joining us. Me, us, us, community, us. It's all gone Pete Tong already, isn't it? There we go. Anyway, so yes, welcome to any new viewers. If you do like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and then you'll get notified if look, I've got a bit of a wing. See, I'm derailing myself already. You will get notified then when I do put up a new video, which I will try and be more consistent. Is that the word I'm looking for? Oh God, I really am out of practice, aren't I? And welcome back to any returning viewers. Thank you for tuning in yet again to the crazy world of Country Bumpkin Creates. My name is Lucy. I'm coming to you from a little place called Peter Tavy on the outskirts of Tavistock. We're 2 miles outside of Tavistock. I'm just on the outskirts of Dartmoor. It's out there at my window. Out my window out there is Dartmoor. I live on a holiday park, which is run by my husband, his brother and his sister. Yeah, that's about it really. Award-winning holiday park, I should say. Thank you to everybody who sent us your congratulations. We were shortlisted for the finals of the Devon Tourism Awards for Best Holiday Park, Best Touring and Camping Park, which we received silver in the Devon Tourism Awards, which then put us forward to the Southwest Tourism Awards, which was basically Gloucester down to Isles of Scilly, so literally the whole of the southwest. So we had a very enjoyable evening at Exeter Cathedral for that prize winning ceremony, and we got bronze for that, so we were absolutely chuffed to bits to get bronze in the whole of the southwest. So it's been a lot of hard work for the Hubster and family and other staff, and they all deserve the accolade because they have all worked extremely hard. So thank you again for your congratulations. Where have I been? I did Vlogmas. Well, I did most of Vlogmas. Missed out like the last few days, but there we go. Life happens. Like I said, I just haven't had the time, or on the days when I've had the time, I haven't been in the right headspace to give you my best, which is not what you're getting today, but there we go. It was either today or it was going to be another month probably. So here we are. Where have I been? What have I been doing? Okay, so 2 weekends ago was Unravel. So as usual, I got the train up very early in the morning to Farnham, met up with my knitting besties, and I hadn't seen them for ages, so it was really nice to get together. So hi ladies. We were one missing, which was a real shame, but we understand why, these sometimes things happen and you can't make everything. So had a really lovely day at Unravel. I've got some nice things to show you from Unravel directly. And then last weekend was the first of the 2020 Flock meetups, which is a Southwest Yarnies sort of get together hosted by John of Mr. B's Yarns, Claire of Bird Street UK, and Bex, who is Bexy Norms. That is at Crochet Village Hall in Bristol. So Nigel needed to get away, so we went up to Bristol on the Friday. We only had one night away, but it was enough just to get away. So we spent the night in Bristol city centre. Went to this amazing burger place. So I had a burger and a beer, and then went back to our hotel and crashed early. And then on the Saturday we got up, had a leisurely sort of get up, then we had some brunch, and Nigel went and did the SS Great Britain, and I jumped in an Uber, my first solo Uber experience, I have to say. And a very nice man dropped me to Crochet Village Hall, where I spent the afternoon knitting and nattering and buying yarn, because, you know, if it's there, you've got to buy it, haven't you? You know, like they said in, what was that film? If they build it, if you build it, they will come. If you dye it, I will buy it. There you go. There's a slogan for somebody's. If you dye it, they will buy it. There you go. If anybody needs a tagline, you heard it here first. Probably somebody's probably already said that, but it's the first time I've heard it. So anyway, so yeah, we did that last weekend, and then once Nigel had finished going around the SS Great Britain, which he did in the afternoon, he came up and sat with us for an hour or so while we were still knitting and nattering and eating cake and drinking tea, and then we went home. So this weekend I'm a bit bereft, because I've had 2 weekends of yarny best friends and buying yarn, and now this weekend nothing. Never mind. Seems to be all or nothing at the minute. But so the next flock is, I think it's Saturday the 13th of June. If you would like to come along, please contact Claire, who is Bird Street UK on Instagram, and she will add you to the email list and email you the information. It's well worth an afternoon out. You know, it's a 2-hour drive each way for me, but it's well worth it, because, you know, it's got to be done, isn't it? Anyway, are we here for some knitting? I think we are here for some knitting. That's what we are. We are a knitting and fibre and sometimes... Oh, I've got sewing today. Sometimes sewing related podcast. So, right, I've had 8 minutes of rambling, so I better get on with some knitting. I can hear you say, Lucy, what are you wearing? I am wearing the Separate Ways sweater by Hohi Locatelli. It was in one of the Interpretations collections. I think it was Interpretation 6 it was in. But it's one of those sweaters that if you've got odd skeins of yarn, like single skeins of yarn, that's all you need. You need 4 single skeins of yarn. And I didn't even use all 4 completely. And, you know, it's got a lot of circumference to go around. So I think I knit the 2XL. Yeah, whatever. So it is so like I say, a 4 skein project. Let's go through the yarns. So this one here is Petrol Head by Easy Knits. This it is speckled. You can see the speckles better on the arm. So this speckle yarn is Coniscate by Dusty Dimples, and then these and the navy blue are Coop Knits. This one is Chryso, and the blue is Lapis. So every stripe has a 2-row stripe of Lapis in it. Why does that look like it's only got one stripe there? Well, that's because I didn't knit it all the way. What went wrong there? Oh, that's called a design feature. I've only just noticed that. I've worn this sweater so much. Oops. Senior moment. Well, I don't know what happened there. Why? I swear I've joined the front and the back of the V-neck, so I don't know why it's... Oh well. Anyway, back on track, Lucy Jane. Back on track. So yes, so it is a sweater that is knit. So if I stand up, you can see other side, Lucy. There is a vertical panel of stripes which go up across the top of the arm and then back down again. So it is knit. So you knit obviously a front and back separate because you're doing a V-neck. So you knit the front and back and then the back section, and then join them once you've got your armhole done. You join them. So it's very similar to her boxy. It is a boxy style sweater, V-neck, top down, but you knit backwards and forwards for this bit. Now, if you do not like weaving in ends, do not knit this sweater, because when you are knitting backwards and forwards, every single one of these stripes has two ends to weave in. So it was a lot of weaving in ends, and then you pick up stitches and knit this. I'm not going to go into too much detail. Knit this panel, and then you knit your little sleeveys. I love it. I absolutely love it. I knit this sweater in just under 4 weeks for a finger and weight sweater. That's not bad when it wasn't in the round. It was, you know, it was a knit and purl. So it was a lot of knit and purling, but I love it. I love the colours that I put together. And this was, I had a week off in January and I got all of my stash out, and I donated a huge amount of yarn to someone who is a friend of my sister's who knits for the local cats and dogs home and scouts, and she does a lot of fundraising, so knits a lot, crochets a lot of stuff. She was absolutely, I think I must have had about 15 bin bags of like part used, a lot of it was acrylic. I've turned into a bit of a yarn snob. A lot of it was acrylic or yarns that I'd bought when I was first started. I was a very big crocheter before I started knitting, so it was a lot of yarns that I bought to make crochet toys and stuff like that. It just wasn't using it. It was taking up space in my room. There was absolutely, and then I had hand-dyed yarn that was in shopping bags that had no room on the shelves. I've got a 24 Calax like this fella here. I've got a 24 cube. I'm sure it's 24. It's either 24 or 25. Is it 5x5? Yeah, it might be a 5x5. So whatever it is, it's a big one. And I just had no room in it. So I've kept some acrylic and I've kept some other bits and pieces that'll be used for like baby blankets and things like that, if and when any of my friends procreate. So yeah, so I donated a lot, and then so I had every bit of my stash was on the living room floor. So I went through everything, and I put together my sweaters quantities. I put together and I'd looked at patterns that were in my Ravelry library or in my queue that I really wanted to knit, and I've put them, or I got some of those like Ziploc bags that I can fit 5 or 6 skeins of yarn in each bag, which then fit perfectly into the cubes. So all the ones, so I went through everything, and I knew I wanted to knit this sweater, so I found 4 skeins of yarn that went together really well, and then in the bag, so one sweater quantity goes in a bag with a label or a piece of paper that states what project that yarn is for. Now it's not gonna be gospel, you know, I can only use that yarn for that pattern. If something else comes out that I think all that yarn would be better for that, then I'll use it for that. But so I've got probably about 10 different projects. So I've got sweaters, I've got shawls, I think that was mainly what I did, was sweaters and shawls, like, you know, like 3 skein shawls or 2 skein shawls or whatever, all went together in. It was mainly sweater quantities because I didn't realise how many sweater quantities I had. So they were all put in bags together, and then I just bagged up all the other skeins that I had. So like tried to bag it like all my Nora George together, all my Lay Family yarn together, all my, you know, Dusty Dimples, all of that, Mr. B's and all that sort of stuff, all together. So that is all now in my cubes. I can see what I've got. So it's like really, so I spent like 2 or 3 days just organising yarn, and it really helped my headspace, because I was getting to the point where I was like, oh, I really want to knit that, but I don't know what yarn I've got, so I'm going to have to get all the bags out and go through and see what I've got. No, it's all in one place, sorted, organised. So it was a good, you know, few days spent doing that, and just clearing out a lot of stuff that I was never going to use. So, and I donated it, which felt good. And the lady, it was actually a friend of my sister's, was absolutely overjoyed with the bags of yarn. So she's a very happy lady. So in a long-winded way, that's how I put these 4 colours together for this sweater. But so yeah, this was my unravel. I wanted it for unravel, so I started it mid to late January, and I finished it by the middle of, sorry, cat's trying to jump up on the table that I've got all this set up on. That's right, she's changed her mind now, sorry. Yeah, so that was a long-winded way of saying how these 4 skeins of yarn came together to be this sweater. And it was like, I had other sweaters that I wanted to knit first, and I was like, this one was just like in my brain. It was like, no, it just needs to be cast on. And it did, and it literally just flew off my needles. I was, yeah, chuffed to bits that I managed to get it done. So it had its debut at Unravel, and then it had its photo shoot at Flock last week with the lovely Mr. B's. Takes photos of your knitted, crocheted, finished objects for you. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, so that's my first FO. The second FO is something you would have seen as a whipper. So it is my Canal Rings shawl by Stephen West. So it's a huge shawl. So this is, like I say, Canal Rings by Stephen West. It's got this twisted rib. I don't know if it's going to show up very well. And then a twisted rib border on the bottom, and then you've got the rings in the middle. So it's intarsia. This is knit in Steve and the West wool. I got this at EYF. This main colour, it's like a charcoaly grey, is mouse. This light pink is powder. This is Ross Wither, and I think that's how you pronounce it. I do apologise. And this is Glühwein. And I love it. I think it's one of those, it's, as usual, a massive Stephen West schlanket of a shawl. So it's going to be super cosy. I haven't worn it yet because I haven't showed it on the podcast. So yeah, that's, so, and you can see this like wavy twisted, so it is a lot of twisted rib, but well worth it. So the next one, this was my Christmas Eve cast on that I I need to get some pictures and put them in as FOs. In Kaz from the Wee So and So was doing a Christmas Eve cast on. So these are the Melee mitts by Isolde Teague, and I knit them in Feudal PT2. It was a kit I got at EYF, and they are, let me take one off and I'll show you, they're a double cuff. So you've got this ribbed cuff underneath the colourwork cuff, so they fit nice and snugly around your wrist. They haven't been blocked yet, and then so they've got colour, like flea stitches all the way up, and then this beautiful colourwork pattern on the end, and then your thumb has got the same sort of colourwork pattern on it. So yeah, the double cuff was genius, such a clever, so there you can see the double cuff unravelled. So they haven't been blocked yet, so they're still a bit scratchy, so I'm hoping the yarn softens up when it's blocked. So they will be added to Kaz's Ravelry group for an FO picture. And then my final FO, let me make sure I've got the right way around, is that one, is this one. This is another Stephen West shawl. This is a DK weight shawl, and it hasn't been blocked, so it will get slightly larger. So this yarn, so it's a 4 skein DK weight shawl. This is coming out more purple than it is. It's more like a chocolate brown colour. So 1, 2, and the last border yarn were a shawl set from Nora George. It was one of her Mrs. Weasley's shawl club, and it was the Gamekeeper's Garden set. And then this one here, when I went to Stitchfest Southwest in Totnes last November, was it November? Yeah, I picked up a skein from Tinky Dye, because I knew that this yarn was destined to be this shawl. So I picked up this yarn from Tinky Dye that fitted in perfectly. So yeah, so it's beautiful. So it's really nice because it's got lots of variation of pattern in it. So you've just got like a little garter tab, and then some twisted rib, some knit and purl triangles, and then some short some garter stripes, and then some slip stitching and some more twisted rib back into that triangle, some more garter stripes, and then twisted rib, and then like a lace scalloped edging. So, and this again flew off the needles. It was because you're changing up every section. You're like, oh, I want to get that section done. Oh, I'll get that section done. I'll get that section done. So again, that's going to be super cozy when it's blocked. I'll go through a stage of like where I'll just like save up loads of stuff and then block it all at the same time, and then sometimes it sits for months waiting to be blocked, and then I'll just have like a massive blocking party. I have to block on the living room floor, so so it's not somewhere I can just like shut a door and leave it, so I can't leave my mats down all the time or whatever, which is a bit annoying, but don't tell the husband, because he took over the yarn room with his model railway and I've got no floor space now, which is a pain in the bum. But so I do have little furry friends who, like, for some reason they're like drawn to the wet yarn and they like to sit on it, and it's like really annoying. Cats, they just got no manners, I tell you, no manners at all. Right, so that's it for FOs. I'm just going to take a little break. I need to go and get a drink, and I need a wee. Should have done that before I started, really, but so I'm going to go and get a drink, and then I'll be back for some whipses. Okay, won't be long. Okay, I'm back. I've got pictures. Okay, so let's get on with some whipses. So, I was a bit naughty at Unravel, and I've been after one of these. So this is the Hide and Hammer bag, and Yarn Story had them with their amazing logo on. See it better on that handle actually. So this is the 04 roll top, so it rolls down, and it's a berry coloured. Lighting's really pants. 1 minute it's raining, next minute the sun's out. I don't know what it's doing today. Don't know, it's arse from its elbow, as we say in these parts. It's covered in cat hair already. So I've been like after one of these for ages, and it was like a lot of money, lot of money, lot of money. Anyway, I bought one. So in here is my next sweater whipses. So this. Oh, hang on, I've got my microphone. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, now my show notes are falling down. Oh, I'm in a right 2 and 8. Yeah, right. Okay. So, this is my next sweater. This is the Square and Stripe by Vera Valimaki. It's blowing out. It's not really like neon pink. So this, sorry for the crinkling. This is what it looks like, and I am basically inverting those colours. So these are the yarns I'm using. So they're both Knit by Numbers by John Urban Textiles. And this is the DK weight, and this one is Knit by Numbers 62, and then the grey is 06. So, and it is 100% pure Falklands merino wool, organically farmed, and it is the softest. It's non-superwash, and it is the softest yarn. It's like butter. That's spelled with 2 D's, butter. So I've done. So you start with the front and the back, some short row shaping on the shoulder. As you can see from the picture, again it's like a drop shoulder construction, and you're doing like visible seams on it. So and then you've got a slip stitch seam down the front, and then under both down the sides, like from the arms down, you've got 2 slip stitch seams as well. So I'm just motoring on with the body now, going round, and then it's a 6-row repeat. It's really simple to remember, and then putting in my stripes. So I'm 5 stripes in. I think she says 13 stripes, but I think Vera's a bit longer in the body than I am, so I'll just try it on. When I get to sort of like 10 stripes, I'll try it on and see how far down my little short fat body I am, and see if I want to add a bit more length or not. As it's non-superwash, it shouldn't grow too much when it's blocked, but I'm loving it. It's just round and round and round and round and round. I took it to Skittles the other night because it was just going round and round in circles, and I can't stop knitting it. It's like, that's all I want to be knitting. So that's the first whipses. Second whipses in my Stitches Tea knitter bag. They've just done a new Kickstarter for their neon brand, their neon colour slogans, and I couldn't resist, so I've got a t-shirt and a sweatshirt on the way. So this is my litmus cowl. I have done two. I'm on the second, well, the last colour of the second repeat of my minis. So this is the litmus cowl by Amy Florence. I am again doing it in using John Arbon Knit by Numbers, but this is the 4-ply and this is number 12. And the minis are the Autumn Berry set. I've got a tag in here somewhere. There it is. I just found it. By Mr. B's. That's not the tag, that's their card, business card. Here he is. So Mr. B's yarn. Oh, the Berry Autumnal Warwick mini skeins. They're 75.25. You get 6 mini skeins in the set, and they are lush. So you get 4 like brown, orangey ones, and then a pink and a purple berry colour. That was for you, Bex. Purple. I can't say purple without saying it like that for some reason. So this again is mindless. If I need to go somewhere, just pick it up and chuck it in my bag. Going round in circles knitting. So I'm doing 10 stripes of each colour, and I'll probably do 4 repeats of the minis. So what's that, 6 times 4? Is that 24? Yeah, it's 24. So I'll do 24 coloured stripes. I love it. And then, so you do a provisional cast on at the beginning, which is what I've done there in like a darker grey. And then you Kitchener it together at the end, so it's like a long, like looped cowl. Perfect. It's perfect for using scraps or minis or whatever you've got. Oh, earthquake. My knee. For whatever you've got lying around. My next Billy the cat, because I have a cat called Billy. He has made an appearance. He's out at the moment, I think. Oh no, he's not. He's in there asleep. My sister said, I need some more socks because she's made holes in the one she's got because she wears them so much. So she asked for some more shorty socks. So I grabbed the Ever Faithful Rose City Roller pattern, and I had this skein of, when I was going through my yarn stash, I found this ball of Grundle hot socks, pearl colour, mit cashmere. So it's got cashmere in it. If I can, so it's 75% wool, 20% nylon, 5% cashmere. It's a really nice yarn for a commercial yarn. It's lovely. So I've done one. I haven't started the second one yet, but I've still got plenty left. So I can easily get a pair of shorties out of a 50-gram ball. So yeah, again, that's mindless. They've been sat on my work desk because I can easily sort of pick them up and put them down while I'm working. So yeah, I'll hopefully start the second one next week. Next up in my Free the House Elves bag, which was by QB's Not For Profit, Dobby the House Elf bag. I love this bag. Is another sock whipser, which was started before Christmas. Oh, balls! Sorry, sorry. Apologies if you've got little ones. Oops. It started as a Christmas sock, but it never got done as a Christmas sock. As you can tell, this is still the first one. So this yarn, beautiful yarn, is again a Mr. B's yarn. I haven't got the tag. I Am the Gingerbread Man, it's called. So I was discussing with my friend Imogen at Flock last week. I need to rethink my socks. I do a 72 stitch sock on a 2.5mm needle, but I'm finding as I'm wearing them, especially when I'm wearing them around the house with my slippers on, they're turning, so my heel ends up on the top of my foot. So I'm going to be doing some jiggery pokery, but I need 72 stitches on the leg to get around my fat legs. But I'm wondering if I need to reduce the stitch size on the foot so they fit my, because they're like, I've got slight positive ease on the foot, so I think if I can reduce that down and give it a little bit of negative ease, it'll stick to my foot better, so it won't have that ability to move. Well, that's what my theory is in my brain anyway. So I've knit down the leg on 72 and I've done the heel flap and turn. So what I've done is, when I've done the gusset, and I've tried afterthought heels, I've tried fish lips kiss heel, and a heel flap and gusset doesn't move so much. It still moves a little bit, but not as much as like a afterthought or a fish lips kiss does. So, and I think it's because you've got that slip stitch, it cinches it in a bit, doesn't it? So what I've done is I've done extra gusset decreases. So I've gone down to 64 stitches on the foot. So I will give that a try and see if they feel a bit better. And what I'm going to do as well is put a bit of negative ease lengthways on the foot as well. So again, that will help it hopefully stick to my foot a bit better, so I don't get the annoying turny roundy sock issue. And I know it's going to affect the way the stripes work, but to be honest, I don't really care. Once they're on the foot, they'll look gorgeous whatever they do. So yeah, so I'm still on the first sock because I'm in a big sort of sweater knitting mode at the moment. Sweaters, and there's a few shawls that I want to start as well, but it's like socks. That's all I used to knit was socks. It would be like constantly have like 4 pairs of socks on the go. And I started these like the beginning of December, and maybe even before then. And I'm just like, most of that was knit on the train up and back to Unravel, and then last weekend at Flock. So I just need to get my bum into gear and get them finished, and then I can see what they're like on my little footsies. And then in my little granny's wicker basket is my last active whip. I've got other whips like my sock ornaments and things like that, but I haven't touched them since December, so they're not really active. Is my mitered square blanket. So I've got a bit of a dilemma going on with this as well. So I've done it 8 squares wide, and when I started I should have done, it's that way round anyway. My microphone's up around my neck. There we go. I've only done it 8 squares wide, and which is fine for like a lap blanket, but I don't want it as a lap. I want it as a proper blanket. So I don't know what to do. So I've squared it off, so it is 8 by 8 at the moment, and I don't know whether to put like a log cabin border around it, and then off that border knit another 8 by 8 square, put a border around that, and then so I end up with like 4 8 by 8 squares, which I think would give it a pretty sizable blanket. Or do I just try and add another row or add some more rows onto here, and then wait, and then make it wide enough, and then go straight up, and then put a border around it? Have you made one of these? How big did you make it? how big are you making it? I don't want it for the bed, because himself will moan about how hot he is. We're one of those people, we have to have like a 4-tog quilt all year round because he gets hot. I'm freezing my nubs off and going to bed in my dressing gown some nights because I'm freezing, but I can't. We did discuss, because I know his brother does this as well, we did discuss getting 2 single quilts, actually, and then I could have a thicker one, and that may be the way to go. And I know his brother and my brother and sister-in-law do that. They have 2 separate quilts on their bed. Maybe for next winter I'll have to bring that suggestion forward. So anyway, I don't want it for the bed. I want it for like sofa lounging, which I think another 8x8 beside each other. It's going to be massive. We'll probably get both of us under it, even though we sit on it separate ends of the sofa. So my instinct is to just add like another 3 or 4. I think I need to go 4. I think, because it needs to be an even number, or else my brain will be like itching. So I think I might just start adding. Go back down here and start adding, and do another 3, 4. You can see you can see the cogs wearing then, can't you? So all these squares with the bulb pins in are squares I've added since I last showed this blanket, and this was really meditative when I wasn't in the right headspace to work on anything else, or in between projects, or there were just days where all I wanted to do was knit squares, and that's absolutely fine, each to their own. You don't have to be working on big projects. A little square was, some days that's all I knit, and I just knit 1 square, and that was enough to satisfy the knitting. Oh, what's that on me? Sorry. It was enough to satisfy the knitting itch. And there were some days where I just didn't knit anything, because I don't know, I've been in a weird, funky, the weather hasn't helped, has it? It's been bloody miserable. I think we've had rain every day since September. It's just been, and like, there are days where you have to put lights on, like first thing in the morning, and they're on all day, whereas the last few days I've actually been really, we've had a bit of rain here and there, but because, Devon, it rains every day. But yesterday and today we've had some sunshine, which is really nice. Anyway, this is not a weather podcast. So, all of these yarns here are Nora George yarns. Some are advent calendar yarns. A lot of these, the last few rows are advent calendar from, I didn't get one in 2019. The 2018 is at the bottom. So this is the 2018 calendar. And then, so this would be 2017's advent calendars, a lot of these. And then I've been going through scraps and like looking at mini skeins and stuff. So I've got a little box in here, and I tell you what really helps with this blanket is needle choice. I started doing it on with a magic loop, like a long 24 foot 32 inch needle. It was driving me nuts, so I found these little fellas. They are Knit Pro ones, and I use it's not going to focus, 3 point, I need eye test because it's just 3.25 millimeter, and they're just like little, I don't know how long they are, 12 inch, no, they're not even that, 6 inch, yeah, they're about 6 inch, and they're perfect for just doing these little squares. I do 48 stitches, so I do 24 on each side, and then I do a SSK and a knit 2 together, either side. I put a marker in on the between the two 24 stitches. Yeah, and then do an SSK and a knit 2 together, and I slip the first stitch of each row, and that makes it easier then for picking up the next square. So let's be fair, I'm a bit of a Nora George fangirl, and I probably have enough yarn that I don't have to double up squares to knit a whole blanket of Nora George. Sorry, the cat's ferreting in her. Oh no, she's going out. So yeah, I have enough Nora George that I could probably knit a whole blanket with Nora George yarns. So that's what I'm going to do, because her yarns are delightful. So as I was going through yarns, and when I was having a big sort out, I had like mini skein packs and stuff like that. So they're all wound up, they're in there. So I've got little balls ready to go. So I might make a start on the next row, adding those extra rows in. That's it for whipsies, or active whipsies. I have done some sewing. I've got really into making these rope bowls. So this one's got a little handle. I made a smaller one, but I put it in the raffle at WI the other day. So I saw some people on Instagram had made them, and I was like, oh, really fancy having a go at that. I've lost my tissue. I've got a snotty snitch. So yeah, I was like, oh, really fancy having a go at that. So I did. I took myself to YouTube. I found a tutorial. I went onto the Amazons, and I found this, which is pulley line. So it's a 20-meter rope. It is natural cotton with an organic cotton cover. And I sat down at my sewing machine, which is here. I have a Janome, and it is the XL601, and it's a brilliant machine. I love it. So you start obviously in the centre. So what I do is I coil up like 3 or 4 rounds, put pins in to hold it together, and then I sew like a cross first, so it all holds it together, and then I start doing my zigzagging. So I do a zigzag stitch. I do a 6mm zigzag stitch with a 2mm stitch length. No, because the 6 is the stitch length. I don't know, whatever it is. I don't know, whatever that button. I don't know whether it's stitch length or width. Anyway, whatever. That's what I set it to. No, 2.5mm. I do 6mm and 2.5mm. So 6mm must be the stitch length, and 2.5mm must be the stitch width. No, I don't know. Anyway, that's what I do. I just plug it into the machine and press the button till it gets to 6 and 2.5, and then off we go. And this machine's brilliant because it's got a speed slider, so you don't need to use a foot pedal. It's got a start-stop button and a speed slider. So to start off with, I go really, really slowly, and then it's when Nigel bought it for me, it came with an extension table pack as a free gift, so it's really cool. So I just put the extension table on to and then just do your width until you're happy with however the bottom is, and then just start gently lifting as you're sewing and around. Just start gently lifting it up, and that's how you get your sides. And then I got some leather offcuts again from Amazon, and because it looks quite untidy with the handle just like finishing, so I just covered it over with a little bit of leather tab. Yeah, so, and the one of the girls who works in the park reception saw, I put a picture on Facebook, and she saw it, and they want some for display purposes in the park. So I've got some more to make, and I want to make some for gifts for people as well. So yeah, it's exciting, isn't it? Right, shall we get on to pretties? So when we went to EYF last year, I was aiming and amming about whether to get one of these baskets from Pink Hazel. So I haven't taken the tab off it yet, so that's her. So Pink Hazel makes these beautiful baskets. It is divided in the middle, and it's got these pockets, so you've got small pockets for needles and things like that, and then you've got a larger pocket for scissors and whatever. And I kicked myself. I was like, no, I won't get one. They're a lot of money, I won't get one. Yeah, they're not the cheapest, but they are so beautifully made. And to be honest, I can sew, but I can't sew like this. And the fabrics are beautiful. So this pink extends onto the bottom as well. And when I saw that she was going to be at Unravel, one of these went to the top of my list. So I was like, in like Flynn, I was like, gone. I'll have one of them fellas. So so I was chuffed to bits when she was at Unravel, and I managed to get one, and I love it. So I haven't started using it yet because it's been holding my pretties that I wanted to show you, that I got at Unravel and Flock. I don't normally do a haul video, but I thought it's been a while and it's nice to show some pretty. And there's a new to me dyer that I wanted to show you because he was so lovely. So let's start by showing you his yarn. Look at these. He was in a little room at the top, and we walked in and sort of, he was on the left hand side as you walked in, like literally like by the door. So we walked in and started doing the stores that were on the right, and then I was near the end of the room and I turned around and this caught my eye, and I was like a moth to a flame. My little legs could not carry me quick enough. And then he showed me this one that sort of went with it. If you can see, this has got it's blowing out horrendously, but it's got so many pinks and purple tones on it. Anyway, the lovely man, and he was lovely, is Ted Knits UK. It was his first show, and his show we went on the Saturday. His show special, that's more of the colour, that's better. His show special sold out on the Friday. Both Imogen and Sophie also bought a skein of yarn from him. They bought the same skein, which was just amazing. It was like a dark, it was like different tones of grey, but it had like these pops of like a peachy pink in it. I'm talking myself into buying one now because I know he's got pre-orders that close today. I think they close today. So if you could follow him, he is Ted Knits UK on Instagram. He was the loveliest man. We spent, must have been easily 15 minutes chatting to him, and he was so lovely. It was his first show and he was doing really well, which I was so pleased for, because like I say, he really was a really sweet man. So yeah, Ted Knits UK. And I was just like, I've never seen the yarns he was doing, I don't think I've ever seen before. Not, obviously not base-wise, but the colours were just amazing. So, yeah. And then, of course, we saw our lovely friend Aisha from Dusty Dimples. This caught my eye as well because it was on like the top shelf. Her booth was beautiful. They've got new display stands, and it was just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So this is on her Dusty sock, which is 75.25, and it is the Sizzle colourway. Look at that pink. It's just amazing. So yeah, so that was a lovely speckle. And then I got this one, which was Pretty Poisons. And this has just got my name written all over it. It's pink, it's speckled. But look at that pop of like neon green in there as well. I don't know what it's going to be yet. Don't know what it will grow up to be. But for just now, it's going to be a pet. It was beautiful. And I also couldn't resist these. When I was going through and sorting out my yarn, I have 2 massive tubs of mini skeins. I have no right to be buying any more mini skeins, but they just call your name, don't they? But it was this green that was like, oh my god, I really love that. But the other colours in there as well. This was, so it's just a set of 5 20-gram minis. But look at, it's beautiful. But that green was just like, it's like a crispy apple green. It's looking a bit neon there, but it's not. It's like a real beautiful. What else did I buy at Unravel? This one. I didn't buy a lot of yarn, she says. Not to my usual standard, anyway. This was Banshee yarns, and again, spent a lot of time talking to this lovely lady, which I don't think I've ever seen them before either. Oh, I saw them at Perth. This was her Unravelled show special, and this is on her MCN, so it's like plump and beautiful. But I just couldn't resist all those speckles. It's like beautiful. Yeah, so that was my Unravel haul. And then, like I say, we had Flock the week after, and having just bought all of that yarn, you'd think you're not going to buy any. This is beautiful. Look at this. This is Mr. B's yarn. It's the Bronte colourway. My Holy Grail. I've been watching the Grocery Girls this morning, and one of their questions was, what is your Holy Grail yarn? And mine is a skein by a hedgehog, which I don't think she even dyes anymore. It's called Teacup, and it was very, very similar to this. So when I saw Mr. B's had this, I was like, oh my god, that's like Teacup. It's like my Holy Grail yarn. It's beautiful. So it's just a very pale base with just all these beautiful pink and brown speckles. It was actually Imogen who said it looks like Teacup, and I was like, that's why I love it. Hang on. Sorry about that. Hubster walked in. Anyway, so where were we? Showing off the pretties. Yes, look at the speckles. It's beautiful, isn't it? I only bought one. I would regret only buying one, but I'm sure they'll have it again. And I also bought yet more minis. What I like. These. I saw these when they did them on Instagram. I was like, oh my god, they are delightful. He does a Star Wars themed colourway called the Dark Side. Does it as a complete like sock yarn, and this is like deconstructed minis of that yarn. It's amazing. So this is the Dark Side, and I couldn't resist. I don't know what it is with me and minis. Look at that one. That was amazing. And then orange and red. So that one, beautiful. Yeah. And as well as Mr. B's selling their yarn, they normally have another maker that they invite to vend at Flock as well. And this time it was Skein Heroine, and she does naturally dyed British wools. So I bought some more minis because, you know. And this is 100% BFL, so it's Blue Face Leicester. This is the Blue Tit set. Look at those, aren't they beautiful? This one, it's just like, this is what I couldn't resist. That one. And then this is Sunset. And it was this purpley one that I was like really drawn to, this purple one. And then that's the like one with them all in there. Right, and then when Nigel came, I got him to look. Mr. B's, they've got some Aran yarn. Look at the twist on that. And I just thought this would be a beautiful cabled hat. So I got him to choose which colour he wanted. I only went for grey because, yeah, boring. So, but let's blow it a bit. Yeah, that's more like it. So this is the Slate colourway by Mr. B's. So we've been looking up some patterns, and there's a Jared Flood. I think it's Jared Flood, Brooklyn Tweed, because I know they do. That's where I sort of went for Brooklyn Tweed designs, because I know they do a lot of chunky cabled hats. So that's going to grow up to be a hat for Nigel at some point when I'm in a hat knitting mood, but not at the moment. Yeah, so I think I did rather well at my 2 yarn buying. So I've had all of these like shoved in this pink hazel basket because I think it shows them off rather well, doesn't it? That's it, I think. Next fibre related event, I will be going to the Cornwall Yarn Festival. I think it's called a Cornish Yarn Festival, something like that. It's in May the 9th and 10th at the Royal Cornwall Showground in Wadebridge. So the girls are coming down. They're staying in one of our holiday lets for the weekend. And then we're going to travel down. It's only about an hour from here to get to Wadebridge. So they're going to travel down to there. I doubt we'll be there both days. I would imagine we'll only be there on the Saturday, but we don't know yet. We're open on the Sunday we might just stay and chill and knit. Who knows? So that's going to be the next thing I'm at. I think that's the next planned thing I'm at. Yarningham. Oh my god. Super excited for Yarningham. So Yarningham is in Birmingham in July. Can't remember the exact date. Anyway, Stephen West is going to be there and he's teaching. And I'm taking one of his classes. I'm so excited. So excited. I'm doing the Shawl Evolution class on the Sunday morning. Imogen and I are doing it. So I just can't wait. Can't wait. So excited. I've missed out twice due to life events getting in the way. So third time lucky. So that's really exciting. Yeah. Nigel and I are supposed to be going to Italia. We're supposed to be flying into Pisa on my birthday in April the 17th. But I doubt we'll be going. because Italy seems to be one of the major hotspots for the coronavirus at the moment. So I doubt very much we'll be going. So if we don't go, we're just waiting for flights to be cancelled, and then we can start the claiming of the back of the hotel and things like that. So if we don't go, and I think it's more of a we're not going to be going rather than a if. We're going to go to Harry Potter Studios in Watford instead, and then possibly do a couple of days in London. Go and see Holly and Banner, which would be lovely. I haven't seen her since Christmas. She's growing up way too fast, man. Anyway, yeah, so that's probably what we'll do instead of going to Italy, because I don't think we'll be going. The problem is, if at the moment it's north of Pisa is like on lockdown, but I've got a feeling like every sort of public place, you know, like museums and all that sort of stuff, that's the reason we're going. And obviously the tower and all that sort of. And we've never been to Italy before. I just got a feeling they're all going to be closed. So I don't really see the point in going, even if we can go. And then we might have to self-isolate when we come back, which isn't an issue for me because I work from home, so I don't have to go out particularly anyway. But Nigel can't miss 2 weeks, and to be honest, I can't cope with him being cooped up in here for 2 weeks. It would drive me insane. So yeah, so we have to look at the pros and cons of that, really. Oh bugger. And yeah, so we might not be going. It's a bit of a bummer, but anyway, we can go later in the year possibly if the zombie apocalypse is over. Anyway, on that cheery note, I'm just waffling now. So yeah, so that's the next event. Will be the Cornwall Yarn Festival, or Festival of Yarn, or I don't know what it's called. I'm sure if you Google it, you'll find out. It's bank holiday. It's because they've moved the bank holiday in May, haven't they, in the UK? It's not the Monday now; it's the Friday for the 70th. For whatever, it's the anniversary of D-Day, VE Day. I only said VD Day then. VE Day. So it's that weekend. It's exciting. Right, I'm going now because it's lunchtime and I'm starving. My belly is rumbling, and he's loitering because he wants his lunch. Right. Thank you again for tuning in. I hope it wasn't too rambly and all over the place. I'll see you next time, which hopefully won't be as long this time. Lots of love to you all. Happy knitting. Bye.